Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight for 23 ABC News at 5. I'm Jessica Harrington. Tonight's top stories. Breaking news out of Fresno County as the DA's office has decided to not file sexual assault charges against Monsignor Craig Harrison. We'll have more on this new development and recap the months-long investigation. Plus, the Trump administration to move Border Patrol agents to sanctuary cities. Details on the efforts to arrest more undocumented immigrants in those cities. 23 ABC News at 5 starts right now.
Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News at 5 starts now.
Good evening. Today, the Fresno District Attorney's Office announced they will not be filing charges against Monsignor Craig Harrison for an alleged sexual misconduct case involving a minor in Firebaugh last April. It was the last investigation pending. Now the question is, what's next for Monsignor Craig? 23 ABC's Tori Cooper has been following this case for more than 10 months. She joins us with the details on what led to this decision and a timeline of the investigation spanning across 3 different counties. Tori?
Yes, some may say this is the end of the nightmare for Monsignor Craig Harrison now that charges will not be filed in the last outstanding cases. But the DA is making it clear that this does not exonerate Monsignor Craig, but this decision was due to the statute of limitation laws. The Fresno County District Attorney's Office announced Friday no criminal charges will be filed against Monsignor Craig Harrison for a case involving an alleged victim in Firebaugh. In their statement, Fresno District Attorney officials said they concluded that the applicable statute of limitations bars the filing of criminal charges. While the allegations made against Monsignor Harrison appear credible to investigators, they reportedly occurred in the 1990s. These allegations were not reported to law enforcement until April of 2019. Delayed reporting is not uncommon in sexual assault cases, but it can limit the ability to criminally charge and prosecute offenders. Harrison was being investigated in Fresno County after a man came forward in April of 2019 and reported to Firebaugh police that he had been inappropriately touched as a teenager by Harrison while he was at St. Joseph's Church. At the time, Firebaugh police said when their investigation was completed, it would be up to the Fresno County District Attorney's Office whether to file charges. Patrick Wall, an expert in church law and an advocate for alleged victims, says the statute of limitations are based upon when the alleged conduct occurred.
What's important for survivors to know is that we need to know the facts of when they were abused, where they were abused, and the law that was in effect at that time.
After the initial Firebaugh allegation, Harrison was placed on administrative leave by the Diocese of Fresno, shocking his St. Francis parish and the city of Bakersfield. Soon after, another alleged victim told Merced police Harrison inappropriately touched him in 1988. At the time, Harrison was serving at St. Patrick's and Sacred Heart. A third alleged victim came forward claiming abuse by the Monsignor occurring in 1998. Then in May of 2019, the Bakersfield Police Department received allegations of sexual misconduct by Harrison that allegedly occurred during the early 1990s. However, in July, the department said after a thorough investigation, they did not identify any allegations of criminal behavior with corroborated evidence. A tearful Monsignor Craig speaking publicly for the first time following BPD's decision.
I want to begin by offering thanks to God for giving me strength during these months.
Wall says Bishop Brennan of the Diocese of Fresno is obligated to report it to the Vatican.
Bishop Brennan is obligated to make a report to the Holy See so that Pope Francis then makes a decision on whether they're going to handle the case in Rome or whether the Pope decides to send it back to Bishop Brennan in the Diocese of Fresno to handle it locally.
But Wall says if the case is sent back to the Diocese of Fresno, it's ultimately Bishop Brennan who will have to make the final decision.
The facts in my review are that they're solid, they're serious, they're grave, and there shows a clear pattern and practice of behavior.
Now, 23 ABC reached out to the Fresno Diocese to get the status on Harrison following the news that Harrison would not be charged in Fresno County, but we did not hear back. We also reached out to his attorney, Kyle Humphrey, and he also has not gotten back to us as of news time. But for now, live in studio, I'm Tori Cooper for 23 ABC News, connecting you.
And Harrison has filed defamation lawsuits against Roman Catholic faithful and its founder, Stephen Brady, arguing that the RCF published false and defamatory statements regarding sexual misconduct allegations made against him. Back in December, a Kern County Superior Court judge ruled in favor of Harrison, and the case has moved forward. The court found that there was evidence that the Roman Catholic faithful and its founder, Stephen Brady, made defamatory statements against Harrison. The judge also ruled Harrison is not a public figure. According to court records, there was a hearing today, and he's set to be back in court on February 25th. Meantime, a new program is available to anyone who has been sexually abused as a minor by a priest. Individuals can file a claim no matter when the abuse occurred or even if the accuser has been found guilty in the court of law or not. The program was launched this past fall. For more information on the program, go to CaliforniaDioceseISP.com. The Trump administration is redirecting agents from a specially trained Border Patrol unit to help ramp up arrests and removals of undocumented immigrants in sanctuary cities. That's according to law enforcement officials. Members of the U.S. Border Patrol Tactical Unit, a rapid response security force, are deploying to assist immigration and customs enforcement officers in Chicago and New York. Other agents from several ports of entry and field stations along the border are expected to be sent to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Houston, Boston, New Orleans, and more. Delano is a sanctuary city, but it's still not confirmed whether Kern County will be on that list. The ICE director released a statement to 23 ABC regarding the move. They wrote, quote, ICE is utilizing CBP to supplement enforcement activity in response to resource challenges stemming from sanctuary city policies. He went on to add that it requires a significant amount of additional time and resources. He also wrote, due to law enforcement sensitivities and officer safety, ICE does not discuss planned operations or specific resource allocation. For the full statement, you can head to our website, turnto23.com. The city of McFarland is preparing for another planning commission meeting regarding a possible expansion of the GEO Group's detention center. On Tuesday, the McFarland Planning Commission will meet. One of the topics on the agenda, a second public hearing to approve a permit to expand the Golden State Modified Community Correction Facility on Frontage Road in McFarland. If approved, it would add another 1,400 beds for ICE detainees in Kern County. The last meeting brought out hundreds of community members and forced McFarland police to add extra officers for security. The meeting is set for this Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the McFarland Veterans Community Center on West Sherwood Avenue. Court documents obtained by 23 ABC revealing new details about the shooting that happened on a Greyhound bus earlier this month. Investigators are testing the shooter's blood for intoxication and impairment. The California Highway Patrol says on February 3rd, Anthony Williams shot 6 people on a Greyhound bus headed from Los Angeles to San Francisco. 51-year-old Lourdes Vence of Colombia was the woman who died. Williams pleaded not guilty yesterday in court. Now, according to the documents, the level of intoxication and impairment at the time of the crime is being tested. The documents also revealing a passenger was able to overtake Williams and take control of the gun, which was then given to the bus driver. The driver then drove to a secure location on the I-5 to drop Williams off before calling medical aid and law enforcement. Williams is set to be back in court for on April 28th. The countdown is on until President Donald Trump makes his way to Kern County, a White House official confirming he will be in Bakersfield next week. According to that official, the president plans to travel to California, Nevada, Arizona, and Colorado. On Wednesday, the president will join House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy in Bakersfield to speak with farmers in the Central Valley about efforts to improve the supply and delivery of water in California and other western states. The last time a president paid a visit to Bakersfield was back in 2012 when former President Barack Obama passed through La Paz near Keene to dedicate a monument to the late United Farm Workers Union co-founder Cesar Chavez. Congressman T.J. Cox addressing the issue of water earlier this week after a bill on the topic passed the Committee of Natural Resources.
Solving Valley water issues is a top priority of mine. I'm happy that my Move Water Now bill that would provide $200 million for Frank Kern repairs was recently passed by the House Natural Resources Committee. I'll work with anyone on issues that concern our valley, and I look forward to Congressman McCarthy's support for my bill and for the President to sign it into law.
We'll have all your coverage on President Trump's visit to Bakersfield online and on air this upcoming Wednesday. Be sure to head to our website, turnto23.com, and download our mobile and tablet app. Next month, California voters will head to the polls on Super Tuesday. One item on the ballot will be Prop 13, which creators say will provide billions of dollars worth of structural upgrades to public schools.
I had circumstances, for example, like a student who wore an insulin pump and his insulin would go bad because it was so hot in my classrooms.
Now, the superintendent for the Maple School District, which oversees Maple School in Shafter, says the school's buildings, built in 1961, have never been renovated. She says her school received less than half the funds it usually takes to rebuild a school. Prop 13 would authorize up to $15 billion in bonds aimed at modernizing public campuses, removing lead from water, and increasing affordable housing for students. We'll have more on both sides of Prop 13 on 23 ABC News at 6. And 23 ABC wants to help you make an informed decision on Super Tuesday when California voters go to the polls on March 3rd. In addition to the measures, we'll have information on national and local candidates along with propositions on our website, turnto23.com.
Well, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I hope that you are having a great day because we had great temperatures out there today in those upper 60s right now here in the valley. So not quite as warm as what we were feeling this time yesterday, but we are going to continue to see those 60s in the valley, Kern River Valley, and desert cities for the next several hours. 54 in Tehachapi right now and dipping down into those 40s in Fraser Park as well as in Lebec. But if you're planning on heading out for dinner tonight, you can expect 63 degrees at 6 p.m., but we will be dropping down into those 50s by the time 8 p.m. rolls around. So make sure that you're bringing a jacket if you're planning on being out a little bit later than that. But dry conditions will remain across the region for the next several afternoons, but I have more details on when we will be feeling an increase in winds and what that means for air quality coming up next.
A man accused of stabbing another man to death pleaded not guilty in court today. 34-year-old Jesse Lopez is accused of killing 53-year-old Tracy Scott Elliott in Oildale earlier this month. He's being charged with first-degree murder. On February 4th, deputies were called out to a stabbing at Belmont Avenue and Roberts Lane. Authorities found Elliott, who was transported to a hospital where he later died. Lopez is set to be back in court on February 27th. 2/24/2020, the day fans will gather to remember Kobe and Gianna Bryant. Symbolic, as Kobe wore number 24 as a Laker, and his daughter Gigi's jersey was number 2. The father and daughter will be honored during a celebration of life at the Staples Center in Los Angeles on February 24th at 10 a.m. The Lakers released ticket information today, saying proceeds will benefit Bryant's Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation. Through Monday, fans can register for the chance to buy tickets on the Ticketmaster website. Tuesday, those people will receive a code to participate in the public sale, which opens Wednesday. Tickets range in price from $224, 2 for $224, or $24.02 each. Locals showing some love for Houchin on Valentine's Day as they took part in the Blood Bank's first Sweetheart Date Night blood drive. The blood drive was held at both Houchin locations on Bolthouse Drive and Truxton Avenue. Donors who gave blood in pairs had the opportunity to pick a date off of Houchin's Date Night trees. The Sweetheart trees are on display at both locations, and couples could win tickets to a special date.
And we have a grand prize date with Blake Shelton, so you could win tickets to Blake Shelton. We also have tickets to Dancing with the Stars on the date night tree. We have tickets to movie theaters, to restaurants, to the melodrama, to roller skating, all kinds of different dates.
The special blood drive event wraps up today at 6 p.m. However, it will continue tomorrow from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. So cute.